This is the performing songwriter, and my name is Ray Naylor. My guests today are the Levins. Ira and Julia Levin met at an open mic songwriting contest while living in California. They started performing together, were eventually married, and moved to the East Coast. In addition to performing at venues and festivals, the Levins have produced a number of special programs, some for children and some for adults. My guests have won several awards, including the Empower Music Awards and South Florida Festival's Songwriting Contest. John Apiece of No Depression wrote, "The Levins are originals, interlocking vocals, counter-singing. These two sound like multiple vocals, and I can think of no one who writes tunes in this fashion. It's almost as if they have created a new classical music." I'll be back to talk to Ira and Julia in a minute, but first, here they are singing one of their original songs on the performing songwriter.
The Levins, this is the title track off our album, Trust. I read a quote of Eleanor's at the cafe. Do something that scares you every day. Ever since then, I have stopped hiding away. Well, I can't keep this lie to myself on my way, on my way. You gotta move to change the state you're in. You gotta roll to strike all the pins. Gotta get on if you're driving the bus. A race has begun and we must trust. When I find myself in an unknown place, when I can see old friends in each new face, and when the fear takes hold, you will find I am beside you. The road may curve, but we'll just have to ride. Well, we'll just have to ride through. You gotta move to change the state you're in. You gotta roll to strike all the pins. Gotta get on if you're driving the bus. The race has begun and we must trust. You can hide from your fate, you can hide from your day. You can hide from your pain till your light goes away. If you don't like what you're thinking about, then you can shift, you can turn it around. Hope brings motion, motion brings change. Change is your friend when the going gets strange. Change is your friend when the going gets strange. Going gets strange. You gotta move to change the state you're in. You've gotta roll to strike all the pins. Gotta get on if you're driving the bus. The race has begun and we must trust. You gotta move to change the state you're in. You gotta roll to strike all the pins. Gotta get on if you're driving the bus. The race has begun and we must trust. And we must trust.
Welcome, Ira and Julia Levin.
Thank you, Ray.
Thanks.
Now, as I mentioned in the introduction, you met at an open mic.
We did.
So I thought maybe to start with, we could each of you briefly talk about your music before you met.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure.
And how your music has evolved since you've met and married and so forth.
Right. Do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So
How much time do we have? I'm kidding.
No kidding. So I was in a band called Comfy Chair, which was a vaudevillian rock slam swing band, and we were very theatrical and madcap. And I also was a persona called Uncle I, so I was doing children's music at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very rock based. I had a big, my background actually with my parents, my father was turned me onto a lot of classical music very early. So that was some of my greatest love was classical music. And then my mom played nothing but Broadway in the house. So so there was that. There was a theatrical kind of classical build-up in that when I became, like Jethro Tull was my group. So that had that theatrical rock and roll bass. Mm-hmm. And Julia had a different.
I had a very different We didn't have a lot of music around the house at home, but we had, but I had a big jazz background. So I started with jazz, played piano on a cruise ship, in between teaching, fun stuff like that. And did my own singer-songwriter stuff, as well as Ira. That's where we had met. That was a singer-songwriter competition, actually, that we'd met at. And then I toured for about 8 or 9, almost 10 years, actually, with a group called Vocalote. It was a women's a cappella quartet, sextet, quartet, depending on the time.
So how is your music different now that you're together?
Well, now we went from like Mary McPartland and Jethro Tull, and then we kind of met in the CSNY realm. And I think for me, because like I was working with the band and then I was doing Uncle I, but I was doing a lot of song leading. So I was used to singing by myself or with a bigger band. And then with Julia.
I love harmony, so it's
and
like a
so
natural.
It's
a natural combination. I don't think, it was probably 6 or 7 years into our marriage before we realized, that we really wanted to do this more together instead of our separate
started pretty
projects,
much. We did start singing pretty early on in our marriage, but it's interesting. I think I had probably a bigger, fatter head. And then I had to, learn to pull back and just be able to blend and recognize that the synchronicity and the synthesis of the blend actually.
That's important, yeah.
Now you're both songwriters.
We are, yeah.
Now the songs that are on your albums and you're singing now, do you still write individually, or is it all co-writing? Or
I would say it's all co-writing.
It's all co-writing.
I mean, we realized that 2 is better than 1. I think that we were songwriters in our own respects, winning awards in our own respects before we joined forces. And I think that we had very different styles. I wasn't sure how they were going to fit. He's an amazing lyricist. I can write a song and he'll contribute 1 line or 2 words, and people will come up and say, "Oh my God, that's a beautiful song, especially that 1 line."
Although we did this, the other thing we had that she contributed a line,
right? I contributed
like, hey, that line is great.
So I think that we can always be our own best songwriters, but working together allows us to be even better. I think.
Well, not only that, because each of you play a different instrument.
Right.
Because the instrument that you write on influences what you write.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And it does. I mean, I would say I'm very chord based. He's very, and I'm very melodic based. He's very rhythm and lyrical based. So it's a really lovely combination, really, because we can switch it up, and I can take charge of the melody and the chords, or he'll come in with a complete song that will tear apart and rehash, and it's interesting.
Like a lot of times, if I come in with something that's too esoteric. And she'll be like, well, yeah, let's make it inclusive to everybody so we can all, so that it's nice to have that checks and balance system within the music, so that what seems like, oh, well, to me, that this would make perfect sense. And Julia's like, yeah, but maybe not everybody would be able to relate to it in that way. So let's make it,
Are there some challenges in co-writing as opposed to just writing your own stuff?
I think I think in the first it was more challenging probably for me, because I was like, I like that lyric, and then recognizing that, oh wow, now it's better, now it's a lot better. So over time learning to
Yeah.
trust the dance of it.
Yeah, I think that, we would laugh. It's like, oh, it only took an hour to get the ego out of the way this time for both of us, because that's who we are. We're songwriters. We're invested in what we're doing. So it's, we'll laugh. We're like, oh my gosh, that was just 10 minutes. We're doing great. So I think that not so much that it's hard to give and take with each other. It's more of that personal right of letting go of our own preferences.
And recognizing what is going to be best for the song. So it's sometimes like
Exactly.
gold mining is like, oh, I was attached to that, but you can't really be attached. So it's like,
Right.
And then something's not right. Something's not exactly right with that. So
Right.
then when it comes through, you're like, oh, wow, that was definitely better.
Yeah.
Now, you've played in the U.S., but I remember reading on your website that you've been invited to play out of the U.S. Where else have you played?
We played in England. We
England
played
and
in
Amsterdam. Yeah, it was. We decided in 2010. We decided that it was time for us to devote ourselves to this, and we quit our respective full-time work and joined forces, moved to the East Coast. And when we left California, we really didn't land in New York until like a whole 6 to 8 months later, because we were in Amsterdam and England, and we did conferences and some concerts and things over there.
I've asked this question to other people that have played outside the U.S., especially in Europe, and what I've heard over and over again, and I want to see if it's true for you, that people in Europe seem to appreciate singer-songwriters more than they do in the U.S. Have you found that at all?
I think there are comparable regions that are there. We've gone into many, many wonderful communities here, and there's been a lot of people who've been very appreciative.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough one, because we come from an area that does not have this type of network. The California region did not have this kind of network that the East Coast does.
And now it's building back up, though.
It is now, yeah. But the East Coast is so receptive and so wonderful. And you're right,
true.
there is something in Europe that they're just so. They really do appreciate artists on a different level. I think, fortunately, we've found a network and a community on the East Coast that is really, and we've seen it been filtering across the nation as well, that it's really, people are really starting to crave that more. I don't think that England and that region ever lost it necessarily. So it's
but in Amsterdam, like there was a certain people
they were
were
really
very appreciative of
yeah.
it. It's like
It was very interesting. You're right. It was very interesting to have that kind of reception. So.
Now we're going to hear three more of your songs. Before that, I'm going to play a part of a video of our next guest, who is actually going to be this show, but we had to reschedule.
Yeah.
And it's another duo from Philly area called
fantastic.
Chickabiddy.
Oh,
I
fun.
don't know if you're familiar with them.
No.
And they're very good. And this particular song is called Oh, Ohio.
Oh, fun.
So this is Chickabiddy, and they will be the guest in a couple of weeks, hopefully. We still have to schedule the date for them to come in.
Is this going to travel or is this fixed?
This is fixed. Okay. Yeah, you're good. Thank you so much.
I'll take some words.
Oh, Ohio, you don't know the night I've had. I've tried, to find the feels we used to have, but not one that looks like yours, that blows and sways and moves me more.
When he talked to me, he said words so sweet, like a melody. Hair is gold as the sun. I hope to be the one. Tell me, honeybee, climbing up that tree. Tell me what you see, riding close to that sun. This has just begun. Oh, Ohio, you don't know the night I've had. I've tried, to find the feels we used to have, but not one that looks like yours, that blows and sways and moves me more. And when he broke my heart, he shaved all of his hair like he didn't care, as if to say I'm through.
This is Child in Space from the album Trust.
2, 3.
We're all part of a child in space. One body, one heart, one race. We're all atoms dancing face to face, and the bond that we can't see between us, it keeps us in this place. While the left hand wrestles with the right, the belly goes hungry and eyes shut tight. If I could reach across the great divide, our tears would become nourishment and heal us from inside. And the darkness would fade if I could hasten the day. Ooh, we're all part of a child in space. One body, one heart, one race. We're all atoms dancing face to face, and the bond that we can see between us, it keeps us in this place. One body, one heart, one race.
This is a song off our upcoming album, and it's called I Laugh.
Sorrow inside joy, joy inside sorrow. Navigate the ever-changing ocean with a swallow. Life is sweet, it overflows our cup. It can tear us down, it can build us up. I cried because I lost you. I lived Because I loved you, I laughed. Because I knew you, I'm vast. Because you were with me. We all want to be happy. No one wants to suffer. I am keeping myself open to see what can occur. I have colored myself in before with shades of certainty. This time I won't be so sure. I'll keep a space inside of me. Last time we talked on the phone, you said you were finally going home. I tried to read you a song. You said no, no time for that now. Be at peace. You don't have to be my priest. I am past the point of fear. If you need me, I'm here. I'll always be here. I cried because I lost you. I live because I loved you. I laughed because I knew you. I'm vast because you were with me. I have colored myself in before with shades of certainty. This time I won't be so sure. I'll keep a space inside of me. Sorrow inside joy, joy inside sorrow. Navigate the ever-changing ocean with a swallow. Life is sweet, it overflows our cup. It can tear us down, it can build us up. I cried because I lost you. I lived because I loved you. I left because I knew you. I'm vast because you were with me. I cried because I lost you. I lived because I love you. I laughed because I knew you. I'm vast because you were with me. I cried because I lost you. I lived because I love you. I laughed because I knew you. I'm vast because you were with me.
So we're doing one more.
We're going to do one more. This is also off of our upcoming album. It's called Let's Be Big.
It's a little, I would say, it is a call to action in a way. A little inspiration from Albert Einstein.
If Al were here, I'm sure he would agree. If you want to move around at light's velocity, you've got to think big as infinity. So take the afternoon and come along with me. Hey, let's be big today. We'll travel all around, chasing troubles away. They'll never see us coming, they'll wonder why they're humming. Come on, what you say? Let's be big today. Sitting on a moving mountain of gold, I'm riding out past everything that I've been told. Internal navigation, blindsided by degrees. Fear of not succeeding was defining me. I'd rather think big, so I'm getting out of my way, out into the open where it's not so gray. Hey, let's be big today. We'll travel all around, chasing troubles away. They'll never see us coming, they'll wonder why they're humming. Come on, what you say, let's be big today. Bigger than heartache, bigger than strife. We're taking the cake, we're larger than life. When I am in tatters and about to cave, in elementary matters, be the particle and the wave. When you're scared and lose your way, be the particle and the wave. Stand and be brave, be the particle and the wave. Hey, let's be big today. We'll travel all around, chasing troubles away. They'll never see us coming, they'll wonder why they're humming. Come on, what you say, let's be big today. Bigger than heartache, bigger than strife. We're taking the cake, be the part of the life. Bigger than heartache, bigger than strife. We're taking the cake, be the particle and the wave. Hey, let's be big today. We'll travel all around, chasing troubles away. They'll never see us coming, they'll wonder why they're humming. Come on, what you say, let's be big today.
That was a slide of some of the shows we're going to have in the next couple months, and please join us then. I was listening to some of your recorded songs, and also obviously the songs that you just sang, especially that last one. It seems like a lot of your songs that I've listened to on your records are very poetic, as opposed to, let's say, conversational that you might hear in country music. But that last song in particular that you did was very conversational. So that whole poetic thing, was that on? Did that just work out that way, or is that something? Because I know you did a whole CD of poetry, didn't you?
Yeah, we did a whole album that was inspired by Hafez, which was a Sufi poet from the 14th century.
Right.
He lived about 100 years after Rumi. Kind of a very, very inclusive poet, a bit of a prankster as well.
But the music was an extension of the renditions that Daniel Ladinsky had brought over from the East. So it was lovely to see how Ira, a majority of that was done by Ira, just expounding on that poetry. And we love sharing poetry. We'll wake up and read poetry. We can read it before we go to bed. So I think that's kind of a vein of who we are. Yeah.
I think, a lot of what we're hoping to do with the music is kind of be a musical bridge between communities. So poetry, it's to uplift people's. We're trying to spotlight our common humanity, so the conversational aspect is good, and there's also that, things that lift us up, and that we can, aspire us to be, we can always be better than we think we can be in that way too. So
yeah, that last song definitely, expresses that.
Now, you've put together several different types of programs that you do in libraries and things like that. Talk a little bit about that. And also, let's start there. talk a little bit about some of the programs that you've put together and are available for people.
Well, we started out in the children's realm together, and I have a big education and curriculum background, so it's always been fun for me to put shows together. But we've expounded on the children's and graduated, so to speak, to adults, and so we have Shakespeare and
Poe and Dickens
and
show.
Dickens shows that
And
we
literary
Yeah.
shows.
Well, I think one reason that's really important because you guys are full-time musicians, and you can't do that in
The tapestry is
in coffee
important
shops.
to, yeah.
Right.
Only in coffee shops.
Right, yeah, no, and diversify. If you want to have a full-time life as a musician, you can stay that road and be that one sound for a really long time, and it'll work. There's lots of wonderful examples of that. I don't know that between he and I, that's our full-time passion to stay one road. I don't think we have the capability.
I probably have too much creative ADD
Yeah.
to do that. I think,
So, I mean, this is fun. You get inspired and you do it, and you wonder, what the heck did we just spend time working on that for? And then 6 months later, we're doing a show about all of it. So
But it's interesting to see
interesting.
where the themes come through. Like with Charles Dickens, it's there's hope for us all.
Right.
There's certain themes that still come back even into the lighter side.
Right.
And we when you're performing for people, we all need to laugh. There's a
levity.
There's a levity. I mean, so if you're going to bring some poetry into it, you want to have the gambit, a breathing thing, so that everybody can feel included.
But we do those everywhere. Libraries, schools, festivals. It's interesting where it feeds into. So there's societies out there, even.
Now you have a number of recordings.
Dickens societies, right? Oh.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we do have a number of recordings.
Is this your newest one?
That's our most recent, 2015.
This is called
Correct.
Trust.
Right.
And then you're working on a new one, right?
We're working on a
Yeah.
new one. It'll be out in 2018. So we're very excited about that.
So you're in the middle of that.
We're in the middle of that.
Yeah, we're just about
Yeah.
to do a campaign for
Yeah.
that.
It
so,
always
yeah.
takes longer, doesn't it?
It does.
Everything takes longer than you think. It's so true.
Life gets in the way if you.
Well, we're
let it.
working with some beautiful people, so that's also very exciting.
Yeah.
So in addition to the new recording, are there other new plans that you have that you could share with
Yeah,
us?
actually, we're working with our beautiful friends out in California. They're a circus troupe
Oh, wow.
called Sweet Can Productions, and we did a show with them. With the Hafez material, with my friend
Right.
Hafez, the poet,
That's right.
the poetry,
Yeah.
and it was a beautiful collaboration of circus and the poetry and the music, and we're working on a play with that.
Full
production.
And there's a video on I think your YouTube channel.
Right, on the
Yeah.
website.
About that.
Yeah, there's a shorter version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now people want to learn about you, want to learn about your music and where you're going to be performing. What's the best way to do that?
The levinsmusic.com.
That's it. THE.
LEVINS music.com.
We've never even rehearsed that.
Hey, how
That was
about
good.
it?
So
Yeah,
Ira and
Facebook
Julia
Live.
Levin, thank you very much for
Ray,
coming on.
thank you so much.
Thank
We
you
really
so much.
appreciate
We
being on the
appreciate
show,
it.
man. It was
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
And we'll be back hopefully in about 2 weeks with Chickabiddy. See you then.
Woohoo, Chickabiddy.